guys, welcome to my ASMR video. Just kidding. Hey guys, it's Rosendale. Today I'm going to be answering the questions that you guys left for me on my Q&A video. I tried to respond to as many questions as I could, but I couldn't get to all of them, so make sure to stay until the end to see if your question got answered. Also, just to let you guys know, I'll be releasing a new song on Friday, April 28th, so make sure to come back to my channel then to listen to it. In case this is the first video that you're seeing from me, hi, I'm Rosendale, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I am here to tell you a little bit more about my life. Question from Omar Fonseca. Hello, Omar. Will you be releasing more songs like the ones from your last album? Yes, so my last album was Modern Myths for a Crazy World. All the songs on that album were kind of more fantastical story-like songs. I'm working on a few right now. I don't know exactly when I'm going to release them, but they are in the works. Question from Indica Only. Hello, Indica. Indica asks, how old are you? I feel like when I was in my 20s, I was very fine with sharing the exact age that I was. Now that I'm in my 30s, I am just going to say that I am in my 30s. Pay Respects Please asks, how long were you into music and how long did you play each instrument? I've pretty much been into music for my whole life. I started singing as a little kid. I started writing poetry when I was younger, and then that kind of turned into songs. When I was younger, I played the clarinet. I played that for 6 years. Haven't really played it much since then. Right now I play the piano, but I only had 1 year of lessons. Everything else I know with the piano is just pretty much self-taught, so yeah. Anita Devi asks, do you watch anime? I haven't watched a lot of anime, but I have watched some anime series. I think the most recent one that I watched was The 7 Deadly Sins. Me and my brother used to stay up until like 4 a.m. in the morning watching Full Metal Alchemist. Adriel says, hello Rosendale, I'm kind of a recent fan. Thank you so much for being a fan. Just want to ask if there's a time in your life that you wish you could change. Why and ever why not? If I could go back in time and do it all over again, I probably would have tried to enjoy my 20s a little bit more. I was always really stressed about money and music and my career, and I wish I just told myself to live more in the moment and to enjoy the people around me, the things around me, and yeah. Astrid says, I have a question about the song Boys Feel Sad Too. Do you really have an older brother? Yes, I do. I have a brother. He's 5 years older than me. I won't say much more about him because he enjoys his privacy. But what I will say is that he turned out to be a very kind and caring person, and I'm grateful that he is my brother. Kid Vergara asks, why do you have a lot of sad songs? For me, I feel like sad songs have always been a little bit easier for me to write. Also, I think as I've grown older, I've experienced more sad things. I've witnessed more sad things. I guess right now, I just feel like sad songs come a little bit more easily to me than happy ones. Jessie asks, how did the name Rosendale come across your mind? I had a friend in elementary school. Her last name was Rosenblum. Actually, she doesn't know this story at all, but her last name was Rosenblum, which I thought was really beautiful. When I went to middle school, I had a lot of trouble making friends, and I started playing online role-playing games with other people. I had to create a username for myself, so I used the first half of her last name, and then I just added Dale to it. And when I started making music, I just started using the name Rosendale, and here I am. Leo asks, what was your inspiration for making music for the public and what motivated you to start? In the beginning, I wanted to make music because I wanted people to hear my songs and hear my voice and to be able to make a living off of it. Now, the main reason why I make music is because I want to try and heal the world. I think that there are a lot of people in the world that are hurting in some way. If I'm not going through something, you are. If you're not going through something, somebody else is going through something. And if I can help somebody process their emotions or, you know, get them to cry and feel a little bit better afterwards, then I feel like I have accomplished my life's goal. Dana Gonzalez says, hi, I hope you're having a good day. I hope you are too. Why did all the people in The King disappear? Does it have a special meaning? The concept behind The King is that history repeats itself, and throughout history, it's always like the people that end up suffering the most, and their voices are often forgotten, which is why they disappeared in the song. Fujoshi Loka 305 says, what was the inspiration when you made your first song, and what was the name of your very first song? The very first song that I published was called Love Dictator, a very long time ago in 2012. My inspiration behind that song was to just make a pop song that people could dance to. I was listening to a lot of songs that were on the radio at the time, a lot of Kesha at that time. It's very different than the type of music that I release now. Miha asks, what's your favorite song that you've written? This is a really tough question. Somebody asked me on Instagram the other day. I think right now I would have to say my favorite is The Tide, although it is one of the least streamed songs on my recent album. The reason why I think that song is my favorite is because it encompasses this is the big lesson that I had to learn over the past few years, which is sometimes we just have to learn to let go of the things that we can't keep holding on to, whether it's relationships or people. I think life is a lot like the waves of the ocean. Sometimes with one wave, it'll bring you wonderful things like love and wealth and happiness. And with one wave, it could take all those things away, whether or not you want it to or planned it to. Sometimes we just have to go with the flow. Blip Bloop asks, how long does it take for you to make a song? It really varies. I've finished songs in like 5 hours. Sometimes it takes me 20 hours. It's rarely in one sitting. I'll spread it out over weeks, months, years sometimes. I like to work on things like little bit by little. A lot of the times I have a few songs going on at once so that I can like jump to something else if I feel stuck with one thing. Cool Cyber Sith has a bunch of questions and I'm gonna answer them as a speed round challenge. What is your true name? My real name is Brian. Where do you live? I live in California. Any other job than music? Right now, no. I'm very grateful to say that. Any hobbies other than music? Yes, I like to play video games. I like to travel, although I have not traveled in the past 3 years. Do you live alone or with your parents? I sometimes live alone. Sometimes I live with my parents. It's kind of a very crazy situation that's going on right now that I won't get into in this video, but both. Do you have a girlfriend or someone you love? No. Fortunately, I have not found the love of my life yet. I used to be in a relationship with somebody, but he decided that the relationship just wasn't for him anymore. I am now single. John Paul asks, hi John Paul. John Paul asks, I love your song 6 Pills, but I have to ask when it says, but I can't find the man, I knocked on his door, his neighbors say no one lived there before. Is there a deeper meaning or is this to create some sort of magical space? The man in the story was meant to be kind of like this wizard of the woods, which is why he kind of disappears by the end of the song. For me, the man kind of has like a bigger symbolic meaning, but I'll save that story for a different day. The Real Comic Sins asks, is there anything in particular that inspires your music? I get inspired by a lot of different things. Sometimes I might just be singing in the shower and some random melody comes to me, or might be on the toilet, or I might be out on a walk and I'll see something that I want to write about, or I'll overhear somebody talking about something that I want to write about, or just random stories and things that I've heard or dreamed of. Echoed Voices asks, how do you gain confidence? That is a really good question, and it's something that I'm still working on. Sometimes I feel like confidence is a form of acting, and you can pretend that you have confidence even though you might not have confidence on the inside. But I think it takes years and years to learn to be confident, learn to be proud of yourself, learn to have self-esteem. I feel like it is going to be a lifelong journey for me. So if you find out sooner than I do, please let me know. Echo Voices also asks, lastly, cats or dogs? I think I would say I prefer dogs. I've always wanted a dog, but I just never had the opportunity to have one. Hopefully someday I can in the future. Stir-fried Bamboo Shoots, I love that name, asks, if you could be any animal, what would you be and why? I'd probably be a dog. I'd probably want to be either a husky, an Alaskan Malamute, or a corgi. So I could just be super cute and I would just live a happy and carefree life. 17 asks, do you sing in other people's songs? Yes, that's actually how I got started as a musician. I would write and record vocals for a lot of other producers. Now I mostly just write and record my own music. If you go back deep into my discography, you'll see a lot of songs where I'm featured on. Trevinia asks, hi Trevinia, did you study singing and music formally or are you self-taught? I never had singing lessons when I was a kid. I kind of wish that I did. I had clarinet lessons instead. I did learn a lot about music theory when I was in school and in college. Hiyuri asks, what is your plan for the future in the music field? That is a very good question. I don't think I have a very specific answer to that question as of right now, but I will continue writing and recording original songs. I think that's the part about music that I enjoy doing the most. And whatever else comes along the way will come along the way. There's probably gonna be a new album this year. Amna asks, what software do you use to make your music? I use Logic Pro X, which is only available for Macs, I believe. Amna also asked, how did you find out that music is the career that you wanted to pursue? When I was younger, my parents used to host these karaoke parties and they would invite a bunch of their friends to come sing together and I would sing a few songs, and I think that's when I discovered my love for singing. As I grew older, I started writing poetry, and I think naturally I just combined singing and poetry into songwriting. Rich Crazy Dad says, I love that name. How do you come up with your songs? Do you use the mumble technique or spend like a year or a few months writing lyrics? That's an interesting question. I used to use the mumble technique a lot more when I first started writing music. I think now I usually start with the lyrics first and then I will set the lyrics to a melody. A lot of times when I'm doing songwriting, I will decide a theme and I'm going to decide what's going to happen with that theme. So the theme of the song could be like a relationship, and the thing that happens with the theme is maybe it's a breakup. So it's a sad breakup song. Or it could be like the theme is about the forest and it's going to be a sad song about the forest, or it's a happy song about the forest, or a song about how the forest is my home, or it used to be my home and now I've been displaced. After I figure out those two things, I usually just write down as many ideas as I can relating to the theme and what's going to happen to that theme, and then I will start combining things together, reorganizing things and just moving things around. It's kind of like figuring out the pieces of a puzzle, and then by the end, if I'm happy with it, then I will set it to a melody and then do the production for it. So yeah, that's how most of my songs are born. Kevin asks, hi Kevin, what is one of the funniest things that has happened to you? Could be a long time ago or more recently. When I was younger, I think it was maybe like 10 or 12, I went on a trip to Thailand and I got food poisoning there. I'm pretty sure it's because I drank the tap water. I went on a ride in this like really big boat, and the waves of the ocean just made everything worse. I felt so nauseous. So by the time we were about to get off the boat, I had to throw up. So I leaned over the side of the boat and I threw up, but it didn't land in the ocean. It actually landed on like part of the deck of the bottom half of the boat. And I just ran off the boat and never looked back. And I feel awful. I feel so bad for the person that had to clean it. And I just wish I could go back in time and to not have thrown up. Okay, so that is all of the questions. Thank you guys for leaving so many wonderful questions. If you have more questions for me, put them in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.